A new case landed on Lewis's desk. Not just any case, this one was freezing cold. A string of jewel heists, clean and precise, mocking the city's finest. The underworld buzzed with rumors. The city's elite were on edge, their prized jewels vanishing into thin air. The pressure was on, and Lewis, always the cool customer, accepted the challenge with a smile. This was his playground. He examined the evidence, each photograph, each witness statement, piecing together the puzzle. The culprit was a ghost, leaving no trace, but Lewis knew every ghost has a story, a source. Lewis crept into the city's underbelly, a world he knew like the back of his hand. He walked through dimly lit alleyways, the stench of fear and desperation clinging to the air. This was his hunting ground. Informants, whispers in the dark. That's how Lewis operated. He had a network, eyes and ears everywhere, feeding him information, painting a picture of the city's hidden truths. He sought out Whisper, his most trusted source, a woman who knew the city's secrets like her own reflection, and she pointed him towards a name, a whisper in the wind, Viper. The Viper, a notorious fence known for his discretion and ruthlessness. He operated in the shadows, dealing in stolen goods and secrets, always one step ahead of the law. His name struck fear into the hearts of those who crossed him. But Viper was just a pawn. Lewis could sense it. The detective had been on his trail for months, piecing together clues that led him deeper into the criminal underworld. Each step brought him closer to the truth, but also into greater danger. He needed to find the puppet master, the mind behind the flawless heists, the one who orchestrated the crimes with such precision that they seemed almost impossible. Lewis knew that to catch the mastermind, he had to think like one. His investigation led him to a seductive jazz club. It was a place where the city's elite mingled with the underworld, a perfect cover for unwanted activities. The club's reputation was as smoky as its interior. Smoke danced in the air, the music was intoxicating, and all eyes were on the badass lady in red, the club's fearless owner. Her voice was like wine, wrapping around the patrons and drawing them into her spell. The lady in red, Lewis knew, was connected to Viper. She was more than just a singer, she was a key player in the game. Her connections ran deep, and her influence was undeniable. She spoke in riddles, her words laced with double meanings, a dangerous game of cat and mouse. Each conversation with her was a puzzle, each word a piece that could either lead him closer to the truth or further into the labyrinth. But Lewis was a master of the game. He had faced many adversaries, but none as cunning as the lady in red. He knew that to outwit her, he had to stay sharp, trust his instincts, and never let his guard down. The stakes were high, and the game was on. Lewis played his cards close, letting the lady in red believe she held the upper hand. He needed to draw out the real mastermind, the one pulling the strings from the shadows. He set a trap, a staged exchange of a priceless diamond necklace, using himself as bait. The air crackled with tension, the night thick with anticipation. This was it, the moment of truth. As expected, Viper's men made their move, swarming the warehouse like a pack of wolves. But this was no ordinary heist. Lewis had anticipated this. He had them right where he wanted them. Chaos erupted, gunshots echoing through the warehouse, shadows dancing in the flickering lights. But Lewis moved with precision, a phantom in the darkness, disarming Viper's men one by one. He was outnumbered, but never outmatched. His mind worked faster, calculating angles, predicting movements. He was a whirlwind of calculated chaos, turning the tables on his attackers. Just when it seemed like victory was within reach, a figure emerged from the shadows, a gun pointed at Lewis's back. The lady in red, her voice as cold as ice. "Game over, detective." But Lewis had anticipated this betrayal. He'd played her game, used her arrogance against her. The gun in her hand was a mere prop, a desperate attempt to regain control. With a swift move, he disarmed her, revealing the truth. The gun was empty. The lady in red, her face pale, crumbled, her elaborate facade shattered like broken glass. The mastermind wasn't the lady in red nor Viper. It was her right-hand man, a ghost, a shadow even Lewis hadn't suspected. He'd been playing them all, using their greed against them. The final showdown took place on the waterfront, the cityscape a glittering backdrop to the climax of Lewis's investigation. The air was thick with tension, the scent of salt and danger mingling in the night. The mastermind, unmasked, made a desperate attempt to escape, a high-speed chase through the labyrinthine docks. But Lewis was always one step ahead, his instincts sharper than ever. In a final act of desperation, the mastermind lunged, a glint of steel flashing in the moonlight. But Lewis was quicker, disarming him with a flick of his wrist. Justice had prevailed. With the mastermind behind bars and the stolen jewels recovered, the city breathed a collective sigh of relief. The tension that had gripped the streets for weeks finally began to dissipate. Families could walk the streets again without fear, and businesses reopened their doors with a renewed sense of security. The city, once shrouded in a blanket of anxiety, now felt the warmth of hope and safety. Detective Lewis had done it again, proving why he was the best in the business. His keen eye for detail and relentless pursuit of justice had once more brought peace to the city. Colleagues admired him and the public revered him, though he never sought the limelight. His methods were unorthodox, but his results were undeniable. He didn't crave recognition or praise. The accolades and commendations meant little to him. What drove him was a deeper sense of duty, an unyielding commitment to protect the innocent and bring the guilty to justice. He was a man of few words, letting his actions speak volumes. He was a silent guardian, a watchful protector of the city's soul. From the shadows, he observed, always ready to step in when darkness threatened to overtake the light. His presence was a constant, unseen yet deeply felt by those who knew of his work. The city slept easier knowing he was out there, ever vigilant. His reward? The satisfaction of a job well done, another case closed, another victory against the shadows. Each solved case was a testament to his dedication, a chapter in the ongoing story of his fight against crime. He found solace in the quiet moments, reflecting on the lives he had touched and the justice he had served. As he vanished into the night, a legend in his own right, one thing was clear. In the concrete jungle of the city, Detective Lewis was the law, and he always would be. His legacy was etched into the very fabric of the city, a beacon of hope in the darkest of times. The streets whispered his name, and the shadows knew to fear him. For as long as there was darkness, there would be Detective Lewis, the unyielding force of justice.